A lot of talk about census-level data and the value of it, and we hear more and more about it. What does it mean to you? Where does it stand in terms of its efficacy, and what do you see is working, and what needs to be improved?
Yeah, so for the longest time, particularly in television, data has been broad demography, broad segments. And what we're starting to see now is advertisers looking to plan their advertising based on much more granular segments, as has been identified through the digital marketplace. But they want to do that more now in television. So the need for census level data and the planning process to be applied to media is paramount right now. I mean, it's what advertisers are looking for. So they might not necessarily need the data to go all the way down to addressability, but they could very much use the data to pick and choose their networks and programs and dayparts to how they more accurately reach soup purchasers as opposed to just women 25 to 54.
So what are the data sets, and what are the opportunities?
So, I mean, honestly, we work with probably 75 different data sets. Each category has one or two that are more effective than others. But at the end of the day, if you just take Experian and Acxiom, most of the other data sets are piped into them, right? So in the pharma category, you can have Crossix, IMS, Medex, Symphony, and they produce the data necessary to define segments based on health conditions. In the CPG, you have Shopcom, and you have the rebranded dunnhumby, and you have Catalina, and that's how you determine purchasers of soup. And you have the advertisers' first-party data sources. So there's a lot of data out there. The hardest part of what our job is at the agency is taking the target that the advertiser wants to reach and then finding the right data source to properly identify that target to then be implemented or executed in whichever media tactic they choose.
And what about impact? What about ROI, and how is that measured now?
Yeah, so television is still television. So broad television is still measured based on media delivery, GRPs. ROI can be as simple as when my commercials are on, I'm selling product. My commercials are off, I'm selling less product. The econometric models are getting better. But we're learning a lot from addressability, because addressability is true attribution. You spent this much money on a campaign, you sold X amount of cars. So we're taking the learnings that we're getting from attribution and sales in addressability, and we are starting to work on ways to project that up towards the larger business.
Cool. And we heard Mike Welsh from AT&T earlier talk about big ROI, big. Tell us sort of some anecdotes maybe of some campaigns and where things are going.
So, Mike's in a great position. I mean, he has all the tools in his wheelhouse to actually get this off the ground. So a lot of our campaigns now that we're doing, when we target a specific segment, right, it's not just on television, right? Yes, household addressability is a piece of it, but it's also addressing computers, it's addressing mobile phones, it's addressing smart TVs, it's addressing tablets, and it's all being aggregated and measured together. So the example we were talking about, soup purchasers, all devices, measured back to sales. Credit card customers, all devices, measured back to new customers. Cars, measured back to new customers. So we're doing almost every category that we work with in targeted television, whether it be data infused or addressable or somewhere in between. We're doing our best to tie it back to attribution, because that's what the advertiser wants.